The Tower of Babel, shrouded in mystery. But is it fact or fairy tale? Without the tower, it's simply a matter of faith. Or are there enough clues in the Bible, Jasher, and Jubilees to find its location? Let's check it out. Genesis 11, the whole earth was of one language, and as they journeyed east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and dwelt there. And they had brick for stone and slime for mortar, and said, "Let us build a city and tower whose top may reach unto heaven." And the Lord confounded their language and scattered them upon the face of all the earth. Jasher 9 says 600,000 men went to seek an extensive piece of ground to build the city and the tower. And they sought in the whole earth and found none like one valley east of the land of Shinar, about 2 days' walk. Now this brings some confusion because it says 2 days' walk, but it's simply stating that the chosen location for the tower was a 2 days' walk east of Shinar. And they sought the whole earth and settled in this region. But we don't know the territory of Shinar before the confusion of the languages, and you can't search the whole earth in 2 days. And they journeyed there and dwelt there. It goes on to say how God destroyed the tower. The earth swallowed up 1/3 part, and a fire descended from heaven and burned another part, and the other third is still here to this day, and its circumference is a 3 days' walk. Jubilees 10, Peleg took a wife whose name was Lamna, the daughter of Sinar, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Ru, for he said, "Behold, the children of men have become evil through the wicked purpose of building for themselves a city and tower in the land of Shinar." They departed from the land of Ararat eastward to Shinar, for in his days they built the city and the tower, saying, "Let us ascend thereby into heaven." They made brick with fire, and the clay with which they cemented them together was asphalt, which comes out of the sea and out of the fountains of water in the land of Shinar. One thing is clear, that the writers of the Bible, Jasher, and Jubilees were not participating in the building of the tower. So just who was taking the 3-day journey around the ruins of the tower, and does this tradition continue today? So they went east from Ararat and searched the whole earth and found an extensive piece of land about a 2 days' walk east of Shinar. Now this is where most people get confused because they focus on Shinar. The Shinar is a place where God brought global confusion and confounded the languages. And as new generations were born, Shinar would have become smaller as they built cities and renamed them the area after their children or occurrences. Genesis 10, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families and their nations. We talked about this in the days of Peleg, Gog, and Magog. Jasher 10, Peleg died in those days in the 48th year of the life of Abram, and all the days of Peleg were 239 years. And when the Lord had scattered the sons of men on account of their sin at the tower, and all the sons of men were dispersed unto the four corners of the earth, some of them built cities and places from which they were afterward extirpated, and they called these cities after their own names, or the names of their children, or after particular occurrences. So since we don't have an ancient map, let's just follow the clues and find the tower, because it says it's still here and it reaches into the clouds, and we know where Ararat is. So what does the tower look like? Genesis 11, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly, and they had brick for stone and slime for mortar, and let us build a city and tower whose top reaches unto heaven. Now the word tower in the Hebrew is migdalah, which means tower or pyramid. And the Hebrew for heaven is shemayim, which means the sky, aloft, the visible arch in which the clouds move. Jubilees gives its height at roughly 10,000 feet. So to summarize, it's a pyramid made with brick reaching into the clouds, a stairway to heaven, an unknown distance east of Ararat. 1/3 of it remains, It retains its height, is surrounded by large amounts of both fresh and salt water. People walking around its ruins in some sort of pilgrimage that takes 3 days, and it's still here to this day. While watching a video on YouTube, I heard about a pilgrimage dating back thousands of years where 4 religions journey to their holiest mountain in the world to walk around it in a religious ceremony, and it takes 3 days to walk around it. And that mountain is Mount Kailash. And when I heard it, it was as if everything stopped, and I knew I had to find out more about this mysterious mountain. It was easy to find, as a Russian scientist studied the mountain for a month and concluded that it is a pyramid of great antiquity built with huge stone. The largest pyramid in the world, it is about 22,000 feet in elevation, but around 13,000 at the base. Most holy mountain to the Hindu, Buddhist, Tibetans, and Jains, who say that it is a stairway to heaven, and one day the snow will melt, revealing the eye atop the pyramid. This is interesting if you look closely at a $1 bill. The Bible says, as it was in the days of Noah. And Noah lived to be about, or died about the same time as Peleg. And the earth was divided in the days of Peleg at the Tower of Babel, which I covered in the days of Peleg, Gog, and Magog. There is a saltwater lake and a freshwater lake close to the mountain, and 4 rivers originating from this region. And it is in fact east of Ararat. And if the people were scattered from the Tower of Babel, you would expect the surrounding populations to reflect that, and indeed the largest populations in the world are India and China, and Mount Kailash is smack in the middle. It is also interesting that the builders of the Tower of Babel fled here to avoid wars, and the 4 religions that hold Mount Kailash as a sacred mountain are among the most peaceful people on earth. Kailash has a height of 6,666 meters. In addition, the distance from the mountain to the monument of Stonehenge in England is 6,666 kilometers. To the North Pole is 6,666 kilometers, and to the South Pole is twice that of 6,666 kilometers. The axis connecting meridians of Kailash with the Egyptian pyramids goes straight through to the eastern island where the legendary stone statues are located. Since ancient times, Mount Kailash was worshipped by the Eastern cosmologies as Mount Meru, the axis of the physical and metaphysical universe, and therefore was sacred for 4 religions. The Kailasa temple is south of Mount Kailash in the Ellora caves and is a temple to the god Shiva, which is believed to be buried in Mount Kailash. 600 miles north in China, an ancient diagram was found hidden in Magayo caves that describes Mount Meru as a stairway to heaven. Mount Meru is Mount Kailash. So it's clear that they spread out from the Mount Kailash region, with the diagram found in the cave 600 miles north and the Kailasa temple to the south, both pointing back to Mount Kailash. The diagram appears to resemble a modern-day particle accelerator. If you enter particle accelerator in YouTube, you will see the Hadron Collider, or CERN, which in their own words is an attempt to make a stargate or wormhole, which could be translated as a stairway to heaven. So what were they trying to build at the Tower of Babel? Chapter 9, when they were building the tower, they cast the arrows towards the heavens, and the arrows fell upon them filled with blood. And when they saw them, they said to each other, "Surely we have slain all those that are in heaven." And the Lord smote the 3 divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works. Those who said, "We will smite the heaven with arrows," the Lord killed them. And the 3rd division who said, "We will ascend to heaven and fight against him," the Lord scattered them throughout the earth. So was the Tower of Babel an attempt to open a gate to another dimension like the Hadron Collider? And if so, are we approaching the times the Bible said, as it was in the days of Noah? We shall see. But one thing is for sure, Mount Kailash is the Tower of Babel. And in Shinar, there is much confusion. Thank you for watching.